Hi! My name is Ida, and in today's video I will show you how I make a song in GarageBand from an idea to a finished product. This was actually requested on Instagram. If you don't follow me on Instagram already, I am Rosa Pille on there. We have a lot to cover today, so I will just go straight into the video. So first we have the idea, or the intention if you will. And my intention this time was that I just wanted to make a pretty song. And maybe that sounds dumb, but I've just finished working on a song that was mostly about the concept. And although I like working like that as well, it can feel kind of gimmicky. And I went into my notes app on my phone to see if I had any unfinished ideas. And I did. I had one sentence written in its own note that said, "We are in bloom," and I decided to use that. And I also went into my voice memos to see if I could find some melody lines to use. I used my little melody snippet from voice memos, and I started playing a bit on my ukulele, and I just played some things and tried singing some melody lines. And as I was singing some things, some words also started to pop in, because that's usually what happens. I did have an idea for the lyrical landscape based on the title. Just for this video I made a mind map. That was quite fun. I don't usually draw out this, I just kind of have it in my mind. This could be a fun exercise if you're not used to writing lyrics, because it will get your associations flowing. And it can look something like this. So we have In Bloom Nirvana, and then we have Bruises on the Fruit, because that's from that song. And then we have Call Me By Your Name, obviously, because how could I not? But I also wrote Bite the Fruit, as in kind of Garden of Eden thing. And I didn't end up using any references from Call Me By Your Name or Bite the Fruit, but it all kind of came together in this one line that was, "You bite your lip until it starts to bruise." And I kind of like that line. So that's all of the associations that went into that. I won't go too deep into the lyrics for this video, because that would make it way too long. But I think I'm going to make like a behind the lyrics DIY genius style video for this song as well. So stay tuned for that if you're curious for more. The main theme, I guess, of the lyrics are some kind of new beginning, but you're a bit unsure about what's going to happen. So I really wanted to capture the feeling of something new that begins, and the hopefulness that goes with that, and also the uncertainty and the mix and the ambivalence between those two. And I will also, of course, use these atmospheres or like themes in the music as well. So I will try to make it a bit like sweet and naive, but still some kind of ominous sounds as well, maybe under there, we'll see. I hope that was enough about the songwriting process itself. I have actually made a whole video about that and a blog post, so I will link that below if you want to hear more about that. And then I guess we can start recording. And for that I'm going to move out of the living room, because I have a very noisy street just outside the window. We are now under the bed. I will try to hang up some kind of blanket to make a nicer acoustic. I'm going to record the ukulele first. The microphone that I use is this one. It's the Røde, as I like to say in Norwegian, Rode NT1A. And I use my Zoom hand recorder as an interface. I don't actually own an interface. So this is the Zoom H4n handy recorder, and that can be used as a microphone or recorder as well if you don't have a microphone. So I just plug the microphone into the recorder and the recorder into my MacBook. And then I open GarageBand. I'm just going to... Can't have an open door when we're recording, so now you get to see all of those clothes. Maybe they are also good for acoustics. Let's hope so. This is what my GarageBand looks like now. Of course it's in Norwegian, but this is a microphone. So when I choose this, I will open a new track so that I can record sound into that track. And this will be the track. And here is the tempo and all the information that we need. I think that we're going to try 90. And I'm also just going to change into G minor just for the sake of it. And as you can see, this is the metronome. So I can take out my headphones. So if I press play, we can hear the metronome. And these 1, 2, 3, 4 means that if I'm going to record, that's the big red button. then it will count me in. Of course, I need to plug in my headphones, because when I'm just recording without using a headphone and I'm using a metronome, then the clicks will be included in my takes, and I don't want that. And this I also need to do if I'm going to record more than one track, say the ukulele in one track and vocals in another track. Then I need to go into tracks and add track and add another track. So now I have one for ukulele and one for vocals, and I'm going to record the ukulele first, and then I can listen to the ukulele and the clicking in my headphones when I am recording vocals in the second track. Oh, and the headphones that I'm using are the Marshall Monitor headphones. I think they're really good. They're kind of tight and they close out a lot of sound, so when I'm recording, especially when I'm recording vocals, I like to just remove the headphones from one ear so that I can hear myself. "90 felt way too fast, so we're doing 88. I do like to try and get everything in one take, just because it's more seamless and I don't have to like cut and paste anything after. So I try to just play through the song and not make any mistakes. So now I have an okay ukulele track, so I will show you how I add MIDI to my project. Alright, so here is my project with all of the failed attempts at playing the ukulele perfectly, and some test vocals, just so that I knew where I was in my project. So I'm going to add a new track, and I will choose the MIDI option, that's the green one. So now I have my keyboard plugged in using MIDI chords. And you can use any kind of MIDI keyboard for this, or if you don't have a MIDI keyboard, you can go to Window and then Show Keyboard. And here we have a keyboard that we can play. And we can also press here to get our other keyboard. So as you can see, you can play on the keys on your laptop, in case you don't have a MIDI keyboard of your own. But I don't need this, so I'm going to choose a drum kit, and I want an electronic drum kit. And sometimes I can find like a bass drum in one of the drum kits that I like, but I want something else from another kit, so maybe another kit has a really great like snap or something. So I will try to make different kinds of drum tracks. So I'm just going to show you real quick how I can record some simple MIDI drums. I don't have this clicker on. What we can do when we have recorded something is that we can double click on that, and here you can see all of the things that we played. So these are the actual sounds. And then we can just take those and move them around. So that's what's so magic about using MIDI. If we make a mistake, we can just move the thing that we did and place it on the right place. And then we can add another MIDI track. So now we can try and choose a synth thing. I use this quite a lot, so I can just play some random chords so you can see how that looks. And if I don't want the sound, I can always just change it later, and I can have this one instead. When I'm using MIDI, I don't have to use headphones either, because we're not actually recording sounds, we're just sending the signals that I play through this cord and into the computer. And what I will typically do in this stage of songmaking is that I will just try and play a bunch of different things. Sometimes I also use drum loops in GarageBand. Maybe I should have recorded my screen for that. Ooh. Yeah, we're recording the screen again just so I can show you. So here we have a bunch of loops. This, for instance. Hey! So if I'm going to use these loops, I will need to add a new track. new track, and I will choose the blue one. And that might seem not so logical because it's already a loop, you're not actually recording anything, but it's blue, so that's how it works. So I take this and I just drag it into the project. So what I will typically do is that I will take the loop and then I will isolate the different sounds and I will rearrange them like I'm puzzling another kind of puzzle. If I'm cutting it, I put my marker where I want to cut it and I press Command T. So that's how you cut the different pieces, and then you can move them around and do what you want with them. So we will come back and look at this project when I have added some more things to it and it looks more interesting. I have a lot of sounds now, and the idea was to have both these kind of naive and sweet light sounds and these dark and ominous sounds. I wanted to make the difference between the parts bigger, so I added some more drum things and some more synths for the refrain, and I also found this arpeggio sound that's just insane. Let's listen to it. It sounds like running water and 2000s pop at the same time. I decided to re-record the ukulele, so I'm going to do that soon, but I just thought I should play what I have with all of the MIDI things here. And there are quite a lot of sounds, because sometimes the MIDI sounds can be a bit synthetic and thin in a way, so I like to just layer it until I have this melted together backdrop. Have you seen my outfit today? These are floral pajama pants and they match my t-shirt, but not quite. So this is what we're going for today. Okay. Weather change just like a mood ring, drifting clouds that look like nothing, but look inside your eyes and then I lose all I knew. But all the colors best when I'm with you, with you. Don't know what it means to you, to you. Don't know what it means to you, to you. I look inside your eyes and then I lose all I knew. We are in bloom. The project is almost finished. First, the ukulele just sounded awful. And what I did is that I doubled the ukulele track and I panned them out to different sides. And on the one side, I applied an effect for acoustic guitar, and on the other side I applied an effect for electric guitar, and that ended up sounding kind of cool. So the effects can be found in the library for effects. Some other things I did in order to make it less boring was that I actually cut the ukulele for the second verse, because I noticed when I was listening that that's when I started to get kind of bored. So I realized that something had to change, or I had to mix some things up, and sometimes mixing things up can just mean deleting some things. So I deleted the ukulele, and then for the second half of the second verse I ended up adding some kind of ghost notes in the drums. So I added some triplets that you can't really hear, but they're there. So it just shifts something in the feel of the rhythm in a way. And one of the problems were the transitions from the verses to the chorus. I added some extra harmonies. So that was the I harmonies that sound like this. But I don't know. So I actually think that had quite an effect. And what I do when I add harmonies is that I always record the same harmony line twice and I pan it out. So the panning is this kind of circle thing here where you can put the marker to the left or to the right. But then I ended up getting a lot of harmony lines, and when I sung the main vocal I wanted to have these light tones really soft and nice on top, but of course they got really drowned out. So what I did to fix that was that I used the automation tool to change the volume, and you should be kind of careful with this. It should be really smooth and unnoticeable. So to get these automations we go to mix and then show automation, and then we get this thing here that we can click in order to adjust the volume for the specific parts of the song. I wanted to just mention what I do with the vocals. So as you can see, I use an effect called female basic, and I just think that that sounds nice. I adjust the EQ just a little, and mostly like this. As you can see, I turn down the higher frequencies just at the top and I raise it a bit at the bottom. That's mainly because of the microphone that I use. And I added just a little compressor and a little gain. And when I'm happy with the volume for all of the tracks and how it all sounds, I will just share the song to iTunes, and then I get an MP3 file. And then it's practically finished. It's at least finished enough to maybe upload to YouTube or to send to your friends or whatever, but it's not all finished in order to be distributed to the streaming services and stuff. So I was struggling with this last year when I was making my EP, and I was complaining to someone online about the volume not being high enough, and he was like, yeah, it's because the track is not mastered. So that's when I had to figure out how to master the tracks. So that's the last thing that we will be doing, but I will not be doing that in this video. I will make a separate video for that, just because I think it's its own process in a way, and this video is long enough already. And we have, after all, finished a track. It's as I said, practically finished, but it just isn't mastered yet. So if you want to see that, I will post that video next week or the week after that. If you're not subscribed to my channel, then remember to subscribe so that you won't miss it, maybe even hit the notification bell. I hope that this video was helpful and that I cleared some things up and maybe gave you some inspirations as to what you can do in GarageBand. And if you have any questions or if anything was unclear, then you can just ask me in the comments and I will answer. Remember to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. And I hope you'll have a really nice rest of your day. And I'll see you very soon. Bye!